Hello there, I'm TheNightmareDuke and welcome to another Fallout 76 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at two different weapons, specifically Commando weapons that you don't often see, primarily because of two other weapons, and maybe in most cases just one other weapon, but we're going to be taking a look at them, seeing how good they are, why you might not see them as much as the other ones, and yeah, just seeing if they and how they perform. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy. If you do, then consider liking and subscribing, but let's just get straight into things. So first up we have the combat rifle, specifically the prime automatic receiver on this combat rifle, using that ultrasight 45 ammo and that 82 damage there. You generally see a lot of combat rifles, but generally they're the fixer version of it, not the base standard combat rifle version. And over to the other one that we're using is the radium rifle. It's exactly same mods on this one, also using that ultrasight 45, sitting at 76 damage with that 15 radiation damage, so a little bit more in total. But again, some enemies are completely immune to radiation damage. So yeah, prime automatic for both of them, but generally you don't see either of these very much because of stuff like the fixer and the handmade out there. But let's just take a look at them and see how they perform and if they're pretty comparable or not. And over to Behemoth Buddy, because we gotta see how it performs on the bigger, tankier targets. What's up, buddy? Got some more weapons to test out today. No crits, we'll just use regular shots. So pretty much a full mag there basically for the combat rifle, and let's just see how the radium does. And over to the radium rifle, which should perform pretty similarly, if not a little bit worse, since, you know, super mutants are pretty resistant to radiation damage, so radiation damage on the radium not exactly helping us out here against the Behemoth, but let's see. Yeah, so almost. And we'll just start things off with the combat rifle. Yeah, see how many shots these level 100s take, since they all should be level 100. Okay, well, that one missed, so 2, 3, 4. And we'll just test that out again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 shots for the combat rifle. Of course, non-legendary, just the standard combat rifle. And we'll compare that to the radium, where, slow down, buddy, which of course has that radiation damage. 3, 4, also 4, nice. Hello, doggo. Do not include you in testing purposes, but it was also 4 shots there for the radium rifle, and 5 there. So 4 or 5 it seems, depending on the level 100 super mutant. Of course, pretty resistant to the radiation, or pretty much resistant completely to radiation damage, so are losing out a little bit there, but then pretty much sitting at the same ballistic damage, a bit less. So yeah, 4 to 5 shots depending on the super mutant it seems, so not much of a difference between the combat rifle and the radium rifle, at least on these level 100 super mutants. And of course on the Behemoth, just a couple shots more required of the radium in comparison to the combat. But let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yep, so 4 shots for the combat. And of course, generally, the reason why you don't see regular combat rifles or radium rifles is because of the fixer. So I just have a quad fixer here. Nothing else, not a bloodied or anti-armor or anything like that. But it just performs better overall. So 3 shots. I mean, not a hell of a lot better, but on your bigger health bars, on your bosses, of course you're going to get a heck of a lot more damage out of a fixer than you will compared to a radium or a combat rifle. Whereas on the regular enemies, like these level 100 super mutants, it's just 1 additional shot difference. So you're saving 1 bullet basically. Like I said, this is just a quad version, so it can be even better. But then of course the radium and combat ones could also be better if we gave them legendary rolls. But yeah, at 99 damage pretty much on this fixer here. But yeah, let's just go test it out on some robots as well. And over to some robots. We have a Protectron here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. And let's test out our radium. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. So exact same performance pretty much out of these 2 weapons here against robots as well. But we'll go find our Robo Brain buddies. And for some reason they decided not to spawn. Don't know why. So we'll just find some Mr. Gutsies instead. No, not the Eyebot, the Gutsy. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shots for the radium. And we should have another Colonel Gutsy over this side. Hopefully also level 75. But pretty similar performance so far. And you're level 60, because you just had to be level 60. 3 shots for the level 60, of course. 4 for the 75, you could assume. But I'll go find a Colonel Gutsy that's 75. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost 3 shots, but 4 there for the combat rifle as well. And just some other things to take into consideration as well when it comes to these weapons is general availability and also versatility. Now again, when it comes to the damage, pretty much almost identical performance, with the radium probably needing 1 or 2 bullets more depending on the target, like with the super mutants. Like the super mutant Behemoth, you know, just being a bit more resistant to the radiation damage on the weapon. So it might need 1 or 2 shots more depending on the, you know, enemy that you're currently fighting. But in terms of the damage, they're pretty almost identical. But where they're not identical is the availability, especially when it comes to the mods. The radium rifle, extremely low drop chance for the mods, so can take quite a while for you to actually get all the mods you need for it. Whereas combat rifle, much more easily and craftable than the radium, especially much earlier on in your gameplay. Of course, the Fixer uses the exact same mods as the combat rifle as well, so once you've unlocked them for the combat rifle, you have them for the Fixer. So it's also just a bit more versatile in that, as well as you can change the ammo on it from the 45 rounds to the 38 in case you want some cheaper ammo. Whereas the radium is always that 45 rounds. So again, a couple more reasons why you generally don't ever see the radium rifle, but you will probably see a couple of regular standard combat rifles around the place, but generally it'll be the Fixer and handmaids that you see. But let's just wrap things up and just quickly taking a look at some human targets where, you know, radiation damage usually comes in handy, but we don't really have that many bosses when it comes to human targets. So 1, 2, 3 for the radium. And pretty sure it'll be the exact same on the combat rifle. So, as a banjo player, not really able to take much benefit from that radiation damage on the radium rifle. Well, with the current enemies that we have in the game. But if we get a tanky human target boss, then maybe stuff like the radium rifle with its radiation damage would be of use. And there you have it, the combat rifle and the radium rifle, 2 weapons that you don't often see. Well, technically do see the combat rifle quite a lot, but that's because, well, they're running the Fixer, of course, pretty much the most popular Commando weapon. But again, all of these using that 45 ammo. Of course, the Fixer and the combat rifle, you can choose to go with the 38 rounds as well. But yeah, again, you're just using more ammo when it comes to the radium and the combat rifle in comparison to the Fixer. Very similar to the handmade versus the assault rifle video that I did. That's why you generally see the handmade and not so much the assault rifle. But that doesn't mean the combat rifle or the radium rifle is bad. You're just losing out on some damage overall, especially on your tankier targets. But hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, then consider liking, subscribing, and sticking around for more Fallout content. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.